Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Coogan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
you get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.
IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm here with Billy Nelson. Now, Billy, sometimes when you get it right, you get it right. And you almost predicted it correct. You were edging more towards the decision, but you did say a stoppage to begin with. But yeah, what did we witness last night, mate?
I think we witnessed a legend, a one-off supreme boxer, absolute masterclass performance. I mean, to produce that performance against such a high-quality opponent, fantastic, just absolutely fantastic. But I'm not, without being a smart ass, I knew years ago that how good he was when we faced him in, I think it was 2014, Glasgow.
Mm-hmm. And I was at that fight, and yeah, you can almost sense that this guy, I didn't think Terence would be, you knew he was going to be, for me, I knew he was going to be a great fighter, maybe a unified world champion. I didn't know he was going to be this generational fighter that everyone's going to talk about. You're going to talk about him in the same breath as the Floyd Mayweathers, the Andre Wards. I didn't see that, I must admit, but the way I like about it, Billy, is he goes about his business. He's just 100% boxing. It feels like he's just a pure boxing man, and that's what he does.
Yep, he conducts himself fantastically. You don't need to be throwing tables at people and shouting maximum violence and, you know, attack guys at weigh-ins. He conducted himself, as did Spence, consummate professionals, and he had a professional manner about him and fantastic performance.
I do want to touch on that a little bit. I want to talk about the performance, but touching on what you just said there, what I liked is obviously boxing is known as pugilism. It's a sweet science, but it's more to just what happens in the ring. And these two guys, they never cussed at each other. They were going back and forth at the press conference, but there was no cussing, no table flipping. There was no anything like that. And then even at the weigh-in, they thanked each other and shook hands for making this fight happen. I mean, that is, for me, is boxing.
And that's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. But we all know promoters put words into people's mouths and ask them to do specific actions at press conferences, weigh-ins, so on and so forth. A lot of nonsense. Let the boxers box. Do what they're best at. Definitely.
Well, let's talk about the performance. Billy, obviously, the 3 knockdowns. He got the stoppage in the 9th round. Like I said to you, we spoke about it, and I said that Crawford is probably one of the best finishers in the game. If he has you hurt, he can smell blood, and that's exactly what he did last night.
Definitely. I mean, I thought he just busted up Spence for his jab, didn't he? He was fantastic on his jab, and I'm actually very surprised Spence. He never had any answers whatsoever. You know, he never even tried to counter too much off a jab or block his jab or slip the jab. And, you know, great performance. And do you know what? It was acknowledged by Spence, which was nice to see as well.
Definitely. I mean, obviously, it seemed like Spence's game plan, if you could try and figure it out, was to get in close and work the body quite often. But I don't know if it was the way, I'm not going to make excuses for him, but it seems like even when he did get in close, there was a moment in the fight when Crawford just used his elbow and shoved Spence back 3 yards. It was like, Spence is a bigger man, but it almost felt like Crawford knew that was game plan coming in.
It doesn't matter if you're a bigger man or not, but if you're off balance, you're off balance. That's how he managed to do it. He was off balance. He was a wee bit squarer on. He used his forearm to nudge him. What I teach my guys is you nudge them, then you hit them. You don't nudge them to try and put them out of the top rope into row A. You nudge them just enough that they're off balance and then connect with a follow-up punch.
Definitely. And he probably done that in the second knockdown in the 7th round. The first knockdown in the 7th round, where they stepped back and they threw in the right uppercut because Spence was coming forward. And even though he ate one after the shot, it was just a sweet shot that landed right.
Beautifully timed. Just timing, Andy. It was just timing. Ricky, as I used to say to people, Ricky Burns, he wasn't a big puncher, but see between speed and timing, if you get both of them right, you'll hurt your opponent irrespective. You'll hurt them, and that's what he did. But obviously Crawford punches a bit harder than Ricky, and if he times it perfection, you could be in a lot of trouble, which Spence ended up being in.
Obviously, Spence, you showing that he had great heart to carry on and wanting to carry on and get on that fight. But like I said to you as well yesterday when we done the interview, Billy, was obviously it was 15, 16 months out the ring. He is quite big for 147. I don't want to make excuses for him, but do you think that played a little bit of a factor, or was Terence just that good?
But a bit of both. Both. I definitely think he's outgrown 147. I'd be very, very surprised, even if the rematch. Why would Crawford want to go up to 154 when it appears that he's relatively comfortable at 1? He's a lot more comfortable at 147 than what Spence would be. So you'd have the advantage there, wouldn't he? Mm-hmm. Same again. It'll be harder next time for Spence to hit 147 again. So if they were to rematch and I was Crawford's manager, I'd be sticking to the 147.
Well, Crawford actually came out and said that I think he said that he felt quite tight at 147 there, and he would like a fight at 154. Now I don't know if he would take, like Spence said that the rematch would happen in December. He's going to activate his rematch clause, and he's hoping it is 154. And Terence almost agreed, so 154 it might be.
Well, I've seen an interview that was slightly different. That they said, "Oh, we need to see. You know." I don't know. I don't know if either or have got the final saying. You know what the rematch weight would be.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, mate.
That's all right, mate. But that's the thing. When this is not a scary thought, but can you imagine this? Obviously, Jamel Charlo hasn't fought at 154. He's the undisputed champion there. He hasn't defended his belts in well over 15, 16, 17 months. He's stepping up to super middleweight to fight Canelo. Surely the governing bodies at 154 should be like, right, get rid of them belts. Or if he does lose against Canelo, he comes back down to 154.
No, you're right. You're right.
I mean,
see if you're going to a higher weight category, why should you be given the right to hold on to your belts? Same as Devin Haney. He's canvassed to keep a hold of his lightweight belts to move up to 140. That's wrong. There's other, the organisations need to stop doing that. They need to stop doing rematches and bloody mandatory fights as well. So it's not right. It's just not right. These things all have to be addressed. They have to be addressed.
Small, you on? Just give it a say hi.
Hiya.
Saying hiya. You saying hiya?
Hiya, pal.
He's just stuffing her face. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Could you see this? And I'm going to put this like a scenario there. Can Bud Crawford go on to become a 3-weight undisputed champion? Do you think he can win one at 154?
I think he's got the ability. Of course, he's got the ability. Some good fighters up at 154 as well. I probably think he could, but age might be against him. Was he 35 now?
35, yeah, 35.
That might be against him, Andy. By the time you get round to fighting all the relative champions, or especially to win all the belts, that could take the guts of 2 years, 18 months, couldn't it?
But the thing is, Bill, when fighters have got miles on the clock because they've had concussive losses, they've been dropped, they've been hurt. I mean, I've seen Bud hurt against Gamboa, but he went on 30 seconds later to knock Gamboa out. It wasn't like that, and you can probably count on one hand how many times people have seen Bud Crawford hurt. So he's not got a lot of miles on the clock in that sense. So he could probably fight like a Floyd Mayweather up until he's about 40.
But I personally wouldn't like to see it. I'd like to see him maybe win light middleweight, unify it, and then get out again. What a legacy he'd have! I think he's better than Mayweather anyway. He's certainly more likable than Mayweather. He doesn't go about throwing hundreds of dollars, eh?
I was going to say if Bud fought Mayweather at welterweight,
Crawford would beat him. My opinion.
Well, listen, that's what we love boxing, Billy, because it's got so many opinions on it. Do you know what I mean? People can be.
I think if Canelo had fought Mayweather in Canelo's prime, we might have seen a different result as well. Mayweather was shrewd enough and wise enough to fight Canelo when he was very young, and had a lot of experience, a lot more experience than Canelo, and that's what won him that fight.
I mean, like I said to you, Billy, it was a fantastic. It's what boxing's all about. Hopefully, this is the catalyst that we get to see these big fights and these mega fights happening the way that we've seen like Crawford and Spence conduct themselves as well. Hopefully, we can see these mega fights that we're all wanting to see, in like the Usyks and Tysons and Canelo and Benavidez. Hopefully, we get to see these fights after this.
Well, I'm going to drop a wee name in it while I wait for you. Lewis Crocker in a year's time.
Listen, if Bud moves up, then belts become vacant. You've got Boots Ennis, Josh Taylor, Virgil Ortiz, Lewis Crocker. I mean, this welterweight division, Conor Benn. Come on now.
Conor Benn's looking for an opponent. Hey, why go any further than Northern Ireland? Lewis Crocker will fight him, no bother, and stop him. There you go. There's a prediction for you.
Lewis Crocker.
And I like a bet. Sorry?
Lewis Crocker stops Conor Benn.
I would say very likely. Very likely. He punches harder than him, and he's got a far better skill set than him. Yeah. And Conor Benn's a good fighter. I mean, he's a good fighter. That's going to let him down.
Oh, listen, Billy.
And Lewis Crocker hasn't been dropped amateur, pro, or even in sparring.
Listen, this is a conversation. This could be another interview further down the line, but I just want to end it on this because that's an interesting thing. I might actually come to your gym in a couple of weeks and talk about this. But you're in Belfast this week, are you not, Lewis?
Tuesday night, I think I'm going. Tuesday night.
Right. But I just want to end it on this. Where does Bud rank in your all-time great pound for pound list? I mean, we have seen greats in Sugar Ray Leonard, Haglers, Duran's, Chavez, Floyd Mayweather's. Where does Bud rank after last night?
He's certainly up there. He's got to be in the top half dozen, isn't he? Top seven, top six, top seven. You need to remember, and I'm not taking anything away from Bud Crawford. I honestly believe the fighters of the 70s and 80s, I mean, the guys were doing 15 rounds and they were fighting maybe 3, 4, 5 times a year. They had it a lot harder because there was a big, and there was only one champion at a time, so they were fighting more often. So there was the cream. They were fighting the cream nearly all the time. You know what I mean? Hard fights all the time. So I think these guys just slightly have better resumes than Crawford and the likes. But he's got a modern day. I mean, when I started boxing and been involved in boxing, I don't think I've seen a welterweight better than him, and that includes Mayweather. I mean, people might laugh at that, but that's just my opinion.
Listen, you're entitled to your opinion, Billy, and that's probably why people watch. I mean, you've definitely not got the face for it, but people like to hear you talk. You've got a face for radio, but people do like to hear your opinion, which is the main thing.
Yeah.
But listen, pleasure as always. I'll probably come and see you in a couple of weeks up at the gym again. I like my little monthly visit to the gym.
Just put your request in an email.
Remember, I got your signed glove. I'm entitled.
The 30. We're calling that. My wife's actually called that the 30-month glove.
30 months, 2.5.
Stop making any gloves.
I still got it done. But William, that's the main thing, Billy. I still got it done.
It's got. It's got pride of place beside Tyson Fury's in my cabinet, and AJ's just under it. Andy Lee, Joseph Parker, and my hero Marvin Hagler. And I've got a lovely montage of Marvin Hagler. I love it.
Definitely.
He's got pride of play. A top fighter, Josh Taylor, top guy as well, cracking guy.
Yeah, I agree. I've been friends with Josh for a long time, so I agree.
Unfortunately, he's a Hibs fan, but hey, we've all got our faults.
We do, and yeah, we know.
And it's nice to see you've changed that top, and it's nice to see that.
Well, you don't know. Oh, we've got the.
Oh no.
Anyway, Billy, enjoy Northern Ireland, enjoy Belfast. Send my regards to Lewis, and I'll see you soon, my man.
And the one thing about Ireland, Northern Ireland, let me tell you, they're the most, the most knowledgeable boxing fans in the world. So they're very respectful of it. Yeah, I remember going over there with John Simpson to win the British title outright against Martin Lindsay. And John done a bit of a number on Martin Lindsay. And we walked in the ring, and you could hear a pin drop. See, walking out, they were up on their feet, applauding them. That's class.
Definitely.
Class people.
I agree, definitely. Listen, Billy, enjoy your Sunday afternoon, mate. I'll speak to you soon, brother.
Take care, and enjoy the best, pal.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.
Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Coogan Cassius, and some very special guests, Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
You get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.